Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar on Teams and Bots, Bots and Teams, using the Nitro Bot and Microsoft Teams. Some people are still joining, but we'll go through the preliminary slides and then launch into the few slides I have on bots in general, and then we'll get into the demo of Nitro Bots. Again, welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining. I do want to point out before we get going that there is a question box that you can always put questions in that we try and answer during the webinar. If we don't get to them during the webinar, we'll get to them after and maybe send you an email or have a conversation about your question, hopefully get that answered about bots. So let me start the slideshow here. Okay, let's go. Where are we? There we go. Okay, getting all these screens out of the way. There's a lot going on the other screen. So let's go. Slide number 1, you see that? Teams and bots, bots and teams. And we'll go from here. It seems like a few other people are still joining, but I think we're good. Okay, we'll go. Okay, I'm Scott Restivo, president and founder of Crocanis Systems. Crocanis Software is our name we use, Crocanis Software. We've been around 22 years, believe it or not. Started in 1999 doing collaboration tools and help desk and automation tools on top of Microsoft's platforms. Started with Exchange and public folders and Outlook, and then we moved to SharePoint well over 15 some odd years ago in the 2007. And so we've been doing SharePoint for the last maybe 15 years or so, and building on top of SharePoint as it came out 2007, 2010, 2013, 2016, 2019. And of course, lately, we're very much in the Office 365 and Teams space now. And so we've been evolving along with Microsoft, providing these tools to organizations around the world. Our name's Crocanis Software. We have the Nitro Studio as our business automation platform with forms and workflows, applications, and other elements to it. We are a Microsoft preferred partner. We have been for many years, and we're California certified small businesses. We have offices in California, in the Bay Area. We have an office in Rhode Island, in the East Coast, and we have a group in India that we work with very closely. And the team's been doing quite well, and we're excited to be showing this bots that we have going. We're on a Nitro Bots 2.0 right now. So the first iteration has been out for some time, and now we're on the second iteration. So let's go a little bit of what Nitro Studio is all about. Nitro Studio is our Crocanis Software specific tool, application, collaboration platform, you could say, that we built. It's a business process automation platform, and it has 3 basic elements. The forms and workflow platform that some of you are using and are quite familiar with. There's the business applications, which again, some of you are using and familiar with. That's in use throughout many organizations, and the AI and bot services, which we'll be focusing on today. Now, our Nitro Studio runs in Microsoft Office 365, Microsoft Teams, and SharePoint. I want to point out that it doesn't mean just SharePoint Online. We also work in SharePoint 2013, 2016, and 2019 on premises. So it says Microsoft Office 365, Teams and SharePoint, but it's not exclusive to Office 365, and it's not exclusive to SharePoint on premises. We work both in the on premises world of 2013, 2016, 2019, and also in the Microsoft Office 365 space, which is, of course, includes Teams and other elements. So the Nitro Studio Business Process Automation, we include the Forms and Workflow platform, has a really great forms designer, WYSIWYG forms designer. We have Workflow Manager, custom actions, service portals. I mean, you can see the list here, many, many elements that form a great foundation for building your own applications or automating processes in your organization. A lot of people have adopted that and are building all kinds of solutions that are interesting and effective and help the organization run more efficiently. They're getting off old legacy forms like InfoPath or Access or even Lotus Notes for that matter, or paper or emails, whatever they're doing, and they're building these forms inside of SharePoint or Office 365 using our Nitro Studio Forms and Workflow platform with all the different elements and very much integrated with Teams. If you're in Office 365, a lot of external data connectors, chatbots and AI services. So many things going on here. It's easy to use process automation platform. You can look at it not just as a forms and workflow tool, but it's a process automation tool that can bring a lot of efficiency to your organization by taking these processes that are kind of maybe outdated or legacy or inefficient and moving them into a modern solution using responsive design and cloud-based services and AI. So our business applications, all our applications run on Nitro Studio Forms and Workflow platform, and they include a variety of common business applications. This gives you an out-of-the-box, ready-to-go application that can serve your specific need. And we have the help desk, the IT help desk, the service desk, asset management, a number of them there that you can we can look into or talk about if you're interested in using those and automating one of those specific processes. We can do that. And now the bots and AI services, which is what this webinar is about. We have a variety of chatbots, and we have a number of AI services, leveraging Microsoft's Azure Cognitive Services and Microsoft Azure Bot Framework, building these things, chatbots, and using AI services inside of Office 365 and Teams, Microsoft 365, they're calling it now. So whatever way you want to call it, whatever term you want to use there. And these, so for people on SharePoint on premises, we don't have the bots there because we have to rely on the Azure Bot Service, the Bot Framework, and the Azure Cognitive Services. So that's one element I want to point. We have the Nitro Studio Forms and Workflow platform ready to go. We have the applications all set for the SharePoint on-premises world, but the bots and AI services do require the use of Office 365 or Microsoft 365 as they call it now, whichever one you want to use. So we're going to talk a little bit about bots, and then we'll get into a demonstration of it. I think that's the heart of the matter, is the demo, so we'll get to that in a moment. So bots are basically an interactive interface. They're a way of encountering the application or the process or the program in a way that's in an addition, or perhaps sometimes people could say a better way than say simply email or working inside of SharePoint. You know, it gives another alternative for people to interact with the application that is behind the scenes. The application could be something you create as some kind of request management system, or replacing some kind of legacy form you have, or a new process you want to implement, or it could be interaction with one of our existing applications. So either way it'll work. The bots are a way to interact and engage with it, and users can engage and staff can engage with the application, with the process, and move it along. And you'll see some of that as we go into the demo part of it, that it's really it's a lot of advantages. One of the things that we talk about a lot is the economic argument for bots. We did a whole blog article on it. We've been discussing this for some time now. It's quite the reason why we're investing a lot of our development effort and time in this is because we see the economic argument for bot as being very strong. Of course, the bot has to work right and be efficient and not be get in the way of the user's interaction with the application, but that's all just a matter of configuration and developing the conversational architecture in the right way and doing the UI. And we have ways I'll go into ways we improve that and help the bot become better and better as it's used. But basically, economic argument is, the main one I would say is this double cost problem. What do we mean by that? The double cost problem is that if a user makes a request, he or she has to wait for an answer. That's a time delay. That's a cost of time being lost, not getting an answer. The other side, what makes it double, is that the staff also has to spend the time responding to it. So what you end up with is spending time, you could say wasting, or inefficient use of time might be a better way to put it, for the user who's waiting for his or her response for the request, and the staff person who has to respond to that request. So there's a double cost. If the bot can respond right away with the answer automatically, then that saves both people the time and resources, of answering that question. But the other point is it runs 24/7, so there's no vacations, there's no like middle of the night on Saturday. Somebody user has a question, they don't have to wait for Monday morning to get an answer. So that 24/7 part is very compelling. It's available on any device in any location. And I talked about improving with usage. As we go through using the bot, we get statistics back. I'll show you some of that in a bit, and that helps guide the further development of the bot and the further refinement of it to be a truly efficient tool for your organization. It's a way of handling routine and repetitive tasks and frees up staff for more time. So it's a really strong economic argument for this. It's not just a plaything. It has a real value to the organization, and we're finding that as people implement our bots, they're finding that to be a very true statement. So, staff can be more productive, not only users, but staff, because instead of wasting time answering routine, repetitive questions, they enable service and support people. Whoever is, needing to respond, those people can spend more time on important tasks, such as training, improving processes, updating and maintaining documents or equipment or whatever, address second level questions, spend more time with customers, and improve overall engagement. That's in here partly because people sometimes think that bots are going to replace what they're doing. No, they don't do it all. They just take that low level, repetitive, routine task off your plate and give you the ability to focus on more important and tasks that are of greater value to the organization and the company. And at the same time, it provides better service to employees and customers. We should put "and customers" here. They get quicker, more accurate answers. In other words, you don't have to retype something. The answer is you put into your knowledge base or your bot, database, you could say, and then it's able to respond, and it responds with that very precise and accurate information. It's always available 24/7. It relieves the burden of email. Like everybody gets too many emails, I'm sure. I certainly do. And then we call one-stop shopping, where the user can go to one place in the organization, the bot, and get a variety of services needs met at that point. So that's a very important economic argument. And then we're going to say the specific benefits of our bot, the Nitro bot, that we see from our use of it, or it's been out for a couple of years, and what we've seen in our users is there's business process automation, reducing staff load through automation of routine tasks. We already talked about that a little. There's a unification of services. That's, again, that's common interface for service from multiple departments. They just go to bot, ask the question, and you'll see that in our demo. And continuous self-service improvement. Bot gets smarter with usage, improving response accuracy. So this is all good stuff, and we're going to talk about this little by little here. Business process automation. Now, our bots, our Nitro bots, fully integrate with our Nitro workflows. Nitro workflows are part of Nitro Studio. When you get our Nitro Studio platform, of course, forms and workflows are critical parts of any business automation platform. And our Nitro Studio comes with a workflow manager, and that workflow manager is what gives the bots, our Nitro bots, this special power. They give it this special power of the workflow automation. Our workflows have incredible range of capabilities in the SharePoint and Office 365 space, and the bots become a way to activate that. The user may ask a question or do a search or have a need for something or whatever, but that can initiate, invoke, as we say, invoke any number of workflows that we have created with our workflow tool. So the Nitro bots and Nitro workflows work very closely together to provide this very powerful business process automation. The point is, we're going beyond a simple FAQ bot. FAQ bot basically is an interface, has a database of answers, and that's it. It doesn't automate any processes per se, but our bot automates processes. The difference between asking a question, getting an answer, versus starting a process such as initiating a leave request or a purchase request or an IT support ticket, and then having the whole system work together to move that process along through the bot, through the Nitro workflows. Okay. The other part we talked about, the benefits, was the unification of services. A lot of enterprises have multiple applications with different syntaxes and interfaces and different locations, and it's a little hard to get service because you have to know which one to go to, which email to send in, or which website to go in and all that. People have tried this with intranets and things, but bots take it to a new level because they give a solution by having a single bot that you can use to have a common interface and common kind of way of going about interacting with. We use NLP, which is natural language processing, one of the AI services that interprets user entry. You don't have to put in exact syntax. You can just type in, as you'll see, maybe something like "I need a vacation" or something. And I mean, who doesn't? But they need a vacation, and they get a response back with a leave request form. One location in different departments. Here's an important part. Different departments can structure the bot according to their specific needs while yet maintaining a common interface. So the point is, the bot doesn't pose a stricture on how that department has to function and do their processes. What it does is it provides an interface that's common with the same kind of look and feel, but how it functions in the back end depends on what kind of workflows and what kind of processes you've developed sort of behind the scenes or under the hood with the bot. So quite interesting. It's really good stuff. We talk about continuous self-improvement. You know, I don't want to beat this horse too much, but, you know, users get quicker answers, less frustration, less friction, staff has more important time for other work, a company gets better overall efficiency. I mean, the argument for bots is big, but you do need to hook up with I mean, this little self-promotion here, but it's true. You do need to hook up with a company who has experience in it and knows how to implement a bot in a way that is effective, not just a slap together. If you do a slap together bot, you're going to end up with user frustration and things like that. So there's definitely a process and procedure to getting the bot to work to its maximum capabilities. In Crow Canyon, we have a lot of experience with that, and, you know, work with our customers closely on doing that. So we have continuous bot improvement. There's a user feedback and user experience guides, UI enhancements, conversational architecture improvements. We also have this bot analytical services, which is part of our Nitro Bots, and the statistics show how to increase user adoption and how to more focus the KB articles or whatever information you're using so users get better service. The more point here is the bot improves with usage, and we have a number of ways of doing that. We have this three things we call engagement, conversations, and results. So we look at the engagements that are going on, who's using it, are they same users overall? Sometimes some users get into the bot and they just use it all the time, and these other group doesn't at all. So you want to look at that kind of thing about user adoption, how to drive it more extensive throughout the company. What's preventing it from happening, or what is exciting people about it? What's the good and bad of it, and what devices they're using? Is it mobile? You know, you want to orient it mostly towards mobile interactions, because of course the bot can run mobile, you know, smartphone, tablet, or desktop. And then what kind of conversations, what the results, are they getting the things they need? Are they dead ending? There's all kinds of terms like that, you know, get into the dead end, or, you know, the whole conversation falls apart, abandonment, unresolved. So all this stuff is recorded in our bot statistics and results, and what can be done to improve it. How can we make that better happen? So let me just drag over quickly this bot dashboard, kind of give you a sense of what this is all about as far as what we call bot telemetry or bot analytics. And there's all kinds of different things we can do. I'm not going to dig into that too much right here. It's a little too specific, but just want to let you know that that is there in our bots, so that we drive a cycle of continuous improvement in the bot, so that it isn't just set and forget. It's something that is nurtured to better and better capabilities. Yeah, the screen keeps flashing. All right, so now we're going to go into the Nitro Bots. Okay, here we go, and show you some demos. Hey, that wasn't too many slides, right? So just making a good economic argument, trying to convince people that there's a real value in moving forward in this direction. You know, people are just kind of on the cusp, peeking through the door about bots. You know, a few people have adopted and see the real value, and, you know, coming more common. Other people are just kind of, I wonder what that's all about. So wherever you're at in this webinar, I hope it'll be useful to you to see what we're doing, and we can stimulate a conversation about how this can help your organization. You'll see, you know, we work very closely with our customers. We have for many years. And a big part of our success, you know, getting feedback and interacting with our customers and who's using our programs, our Nitro Studio applications, our forms. Okay, so let's dive into the Nitro Bots then. I'm sure that's why you came here. Somebody's texting me about something here. I think we're good. Okay, yeah, nothing. Okay, so now we're going into the common scenarios. No, this is not the only scenario. So there's many scenarios bots can be used, but we put together some of the more common ones we're seeing. One is IT support. Users interact with the bot. They can search the KB, create a ticket. They can do assignment, list of tickets, overdue tickets. You can do purchase requests, project management, HR, and other requests, like leave request, of course, is very common. Work orders, contract management, maintenance of equipment. So all these different, you know, the point of this slide really is to show that it's a wide range of possibilities that the bot can serve. I mean, this implies, of course, that there's the back end application, and that's something that, of course, has to be there, you know, whether it's our application or one you put together yourself with our Nitro forms and workflows, whatever. But IT support, purchase requests, project management, HR, work orders, contract management, any of those can be further automated using the bot. Okay, so let's get into a bot demo now. How's that sound? Okay, so we have these 4 scenarios that we developed. So let me explain the setup here. The setup. I have 2 browsers going, one for James in Edge, and one for Pavan in Chrome, so I can switch back and forth, and you can see see what's going on. We have 4 scenarios that we want to present. One is leave request, one is purchase requests, one is project management, and one is IT support. So let's go through them and see what's going on. Remember, there's Pavan, PK, the user, and James, JR, the manager in this. So let's go start with Pavan. Pavan's in Chrome. That's this one right here. And Pavan has Teams going here. Okay, I'll bring it over. Pavan, PK. Helps me remember who I'm in. PK here. Normally, of course, it's 2 different people, using it, but in a demo, I'm just switching browser, putting on different hats here, you could say. Okay, so Pavan has NitroBot pinned to his rail. They call this the rail, the left side rail. That's once it's installed. And if you're interested in how it's installed and all that, that's a conversation we can have. But basically, it's pretty simple, it's straightforward. You get it installed, and then you can pin it here, or you can actually go here and search up here for NitroBot. Right here if you wanted to, or you can do like various ways you can access the bot. That's another conversation. That's part of how do you access a Teams bot and how do you install it. So we're going to go here and look at the Nitro bot here in Pavan's world. So Pavan has these commands. Pavan comes here and he sees there's a bunch of commands here that he can look at, but he doesn't have to go through the commands if he doesn't want to. He says, I need a vacation. So he just comes to the bot and says, I need a vacation. Now, our bot commands have interpreted using natural language processing, can interpret this for the keywords, and knows we've tied together in our bot commands that vacation or some other trigger words like that will produce this leave request form. So Pavan needed the vacation, so he's going to, let's say, week off in May. He's going to put in the form. Now, he doesn't need to know what the backend application was. The backend application is there in SharePoint. I can show you that in a moment if you like. But he is just here in this program working on putting in a request for time off in May. Let's say the first week of May he wants to take off. Sorry, May 7th. And description, spring break or something. I guess it's a little late for spring break, but we'll put that in. Spring break. So whatever. So he's saying like this. Now what's going to happen? Well, his manager has to approve it. The manager is James. So he's going to submit this with any information he wants to put in here. And of course, this form, believe me, is very, very flexible how you configure it. This is just a demo we're showing you. Don't take it as that has to be this way at all. It depends on how the application is. But what's cool about this is we're showing a form in the bot. This is a backend, backend applications over there in SharePoint, online, whatever. This is a form right here. So he's going to submit it, and the bot's going to do its thing using the workflows, et cetera. A request created successfully. Now, James got a notice here that he got sent a card. I see it on my other screen, but I'll open up the James's world right here. And here's James's Nitro bot. And what did he get here? I got to go down. James, we're in JR here. And let me go to Nitro bot here, Nitro bot. Okay. James got this bot that says, from Pavan, this is an adaptive card. And again, our workflows can configure this in any way you want, but we have it configured to say the title of what's required here. Pavan's the requester. He put in the title of week off in May. He needs a spring break from these days. James could click here to view the actual request if he wanted, and he has the choice to approve or deny it. But he's gonna be a nice guy and give Pavan the break and say, have a good time, have a good time, good time, and does okay, right? And this is in the bot now. The bot, he's approved it, request is approved, and over back in Pavan's world, your request is approved. James just approved it. You see that interaction? Pavan made the request, James approved it in James's teams, and then Pavan, we're back in Pavan, just got that his request was approved. Have a good time. Everything we just did showed up. So this ping-ponging between Pavan and James went on without anything other than this Teams bot going on, making it happen. So that's we think pretty cool, pretty basic use, but still really useful and really cool. And notice that this could be on any device. It could be on your phone. It could be on your tablet, your desktop, doesn't matter. We're in the web Teams right now, but it doesn't matter. It could be on regular Teams. Somebody just asked, when will the demo start? Hasn't it started? I don't know. I guess maybe it wasn't working for them. All right, so anyway, here we are in that, showing that this ping pong and went back and forth on that. So also what happened here, somebody just had a technical problem and kind of distracted my attention there. Sorry about that, but it seemed like maybe he just wasn't able to access the webinar properly. Sorry about that, but we'll get back to him. Okay, meanwhile, everyone who can access it, you saw that this leave request went on where Pavan requests, James approved it, and now it's back in Pavan. But here's another thing that's pretty cool. In the team, if you want to do this, you don't have to. There, we set it up so human resources channel. Now, human resources has to be notified of this leave request, right? So just to add a little extra, icing on the cake here, we made it so that the human resources general channel, could be any channel, it shows up and knows that it was an approval went on here. See more. So we've now, when the request was approved, it sent a notice to HR. It could send an email to HR, but if you do use Teams and HR, you could send a notice to your HR team that leave number 105 was approved. Pavan requester, James was the approver, 5/3 to 5/7, earned leave, week off in May. They could go look at it, and then they could take whatever is necessary to go forward with processing that leave request in the HR system. So it's like this complete package. And then we've done nothing with the backend SharePoint. The backend SharePoint is there. It's a happening thing. Where are we? All requests. If I go here and I refresh this screen of request manager where it showed up, like the HR request or something, here's our week off in May showed up. So if a person wants to work from the back end, they can see case ID number 105, right? But the users, both James and Pavan, and even HR could be doing all this inside of Teams. And just this is good for kind of administrative back end and checking, whatever's necessary on the back end. So you got all kinds of choices. It's really quite something. So the next thing we're going to do, let's see if that's on the slide. We did the leave request. Here we go. Leave process number one. Pavan asked for time off. James manager. Requested, notified, approves, Pavan's notified, and the workflow runs in order to let HR, payroll, whomever know. Next is project management. Okay, so let's go look at the project management now and go to the James now. James is the project manager, and he's inside of Teams. Right? Completely separate from the leave request, but James just say, we got to do this new project. So I'm gonna go in and create a project. He goes in here, create new project. So he creates a new project. And we're now launching the backend application to create the project, because creating a project a little more complex. It can be on one of those bot forms. So he puts in a new project, and you can put all this information in our project manager if you want. We'll call April. Let's make something up. April project to upgrade servers. I don't know, something. And whatever, you put all this information in. I won't belabor it too much. Let's make James the manager. And we'll let's start on the 15th today, and maybe by the end of the month, we want it done, and blah, 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 blah. So he's gonna save that project. The new project just got created. Now, what this is gonna do is create a new channel in the IT projects world in Teams. And so we go here and look at our Teams. So if you do use Teams in that way, there's a new project in here. Always forget, where's it show up? Save projects. Let me refresh this. Am I in James? Yeah, I'm in James. So under IT projects, I believe, is where it was created. So you have projects. Yeah, here it is. April project to upgrade servers. So what happened was, by James creating that project, he started in Teams in our bot, created the project. Project exists in the backend SharePoint, but now it's showing up in this channel. It created a channel. I meant to say it created this new channel. So if people want to use a project channel, they can. So our bot and our workflows can create a channel in Teams. The team channel that we just created is right here. Now, James wants to go back to the Nitro bot and assign a task. So he's going to go to project management and create a task. And the task is going to be for Pavan to do something related to that project, right? So he's going to say, create, download software. I don't know, I'm just making something up. It's a demo, right? Download configuration. There's something with my fingers today. Download configuration driver, configuration tools. Let's put that way. I don't know. Whatever. But here it is. April project shows up. Description. Need to get ready for next week. And we're going to assign it to Pavan, right? Pavan, come on, here you are. And submit. So he's assigning this new task to Pavan. And guess what? Pavan's going to get a notice that he just got a new task over here in Teams. See, send a card. So over here, we go over to Nitro. In again, Pavan just got a new team. Download configuration, got a new task. Download configuration tools assigned to Pavan. April, mark whatever he wants to do here. With that, he can read it. He can mark in progress. He can mark it complete. He can open up to look at it. And this card is all set up by us on the back end. I'm going to want to show this to you, some of that back end stuff when I can. And then go from there. So let me show you some of how that works before I go into the two other scenarios. One's a purchase request and one's the IT support scenario. We do have enough time for that. So what I want to show is that what's going on behind the scenes is that we have our Nitro Studio is running. Nitro Studio is running behind the request management system. Somehow it all of a sudden installed. So that sometimes happens with the webinars. Go to webinar.
Hi folks, this is Jocelyn. I'm doing your question and answer in the background. And Scott, while you're doing that, there's a question that came up that I think some folks might be curious to know that you could maybe answer while that's catching up with you.
Okay.
That is, could the bots inform a third-party website, or does it have to be connected back to SharePoint?
We can discuss that, exactly what they mean by that question. A lot of it depends on the bot. Doesn't have to run inside of Microsoft Teams. We're showing the bot in Teams. The bot can run on a website separate, because the bot can be expressed through different channels. Channels being whether it's web, Teams, even Slack, Facebook Messenger. The Azure bot service gives the capabilities to take the same bot, more or less, because each avenue, let's say, has its different interface. Teams interface looks like this. The other interfaces may look somewhat similar, but they have their particular quirks. Our bot, the way it's set up now, works with the backend SharePoint. If people want to talk to us about a different kind of bot engagement involving third-party websites, we can and do that separately. So I hope that answers.
That's great. Thanks so much.
The project part is part of our solution package. One part of our project management is one of our Nitro applications, Nitro-based applications. So that's one of the things. Same with the purchase request and the leave request and all those other ones. Okay. All right, I'll get back to the Nitro Studio I was just talking about. We have the request system going on here, and we have the Nitro Studio, which is powering it up over here, the request management. So in the Nitro Studio is a number of items. In the Nitro Studio in and of itself, we did a webinar on this recently. So much going on here, and there's a lot of very, very powerful and interesting tools that you can use to drive business process automation at your organization. Great stuff. One of them is bots. And the bots have a particular way of being configured. So the bots give you the ability to go in as an admin. This is as an admin, not as a user, to set up the services called the Nitro Bot. And when you go in here, don't worry too much about these. I'm going a little fast. I'm not trying to explain all the intimate details of bot administration, but I want to give you a flavor of it, that we have all these commands set up in the system in the back, and they can be readily modified and adjusted and changed any way you want at any time. This bot is very, very flexible. That's Nitro Bot 2.0. The first one we did, Nitro Bot 1.0, was pretty much a pre-configured bot. And this is a bot that is more freeform, allowing you to create whatever kinds of commands you want. We have a whole variety of different commands you can create and use in different ways, however you want in the bot command. We also have the ability down here to import bot settings of some pre-configured bots specifically for a help desk, leave request, or purchase order system. We'll set up these commands in a way that makes it so that that is appropriate and specific to your needs or that particular activity of IT support or HR or whatever. This is set up with a lot because there's a lot going on here, and that's what you're seeing when you go here and you look at the commands, is that we're seeing a lot of commands because we want to have a lot showing in the demo. The commands give us the ability to go through all these different departments and show that this can be used in many, many different ways, whether it's IT, project, purchasing, request management, leave request, and all those different things. All these are listed here in our bot commands. So you have like create task, create new project, all those we just did for the project management thing I showed you. So now we go back here and you can see that there are specific commands about creating projects. View my projects right here, create a task. And what this one does, for instance, create a task, or when we created that task for Pavon, is invoking a workflow. It invokes a Nitro workflow, and the Nitro workflows are incredibly powerful. So you get a Nitro workflow, a new project task adaptive card was given there back to Pavon, and that adaptive card is configured inside of the Nitro workflow, so you can have it looking and have it whatever you want on it. Let's take one looking at the view my open leave request. That's okay. We'll go back here. We'll go back here, and the person wants to look at my open leave request. Who's this? James. Oh, no, Pavon's the one with open leave request. So let's go back here to Pavon and look at his open leave request here. And we're going to go here, look at his, you got here to the request management. And we go here, view my open leave requests. So Pavon can see what happens with his week off in April, with his week off in May. So he can look at these things, so week off in April, week off in May right here. Then if he clicks this, he can open up this form and take a look at what's going on here for the for that item. So this is what's sent back to him, week off in May, submitted by so-and-so and blah, 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 blah. This adaptive card is sent to him. This is configured by going to your bot command right here, view my open leave requests. You can set up all these different ways with your tags, with your keywords, what groups is allowed in, does it show in the channel or not. The webinar now is not meant to go too deep into this, but you can see that there's a tremendous amount of power and capabilities in what we're building in Nitro Bots 2.0. This is not, this gives you a tremendous power to use the bot in a way that's most effective and organized. Now, of course, we have training, we'll help with you, work hand in hand to make it happen. Don't expect you to get that right away. But there is a tremendous amount. We have manuals on it, everything. But the most important thing I'm saying here is that it's invoking this workflow, display leave request adaptive card, from this site called request management site. It's using the request management site, that workflow that runs in that site. So let's take a look at this display leave request adaptive card workflow in the site of request management. Here's request management site. From Nitro Studio, I launched Nitro Workflows. Nitro Workflows gives me the screen, and one of his display leave request adaptive card. The bot has been set, that command has been set up to invoke this workflow right here. Bot triggered, it says. So where we go here, and we see that this workflow is going to happen from a bot triggered event. And what it does, the action it runs, it can run any number of actions. We have a huge amount of actions here inside of our workflows, but it does this one called Microsoft Teams Post an Adaptive Card. See, post right here, it says Post an Adaptive Card. So we selected that earlier and created this adaptive card right here that it's going to display. So we go look here and we go to this particular action of Post an Adaptive Card, and we can see all the settings right here for this setup of this card that we're showing in that screen, right? So here's the card, and kind of showing you where everything is and what's going on right here. So let's go look at Pavon's again. He got this adaptive card right here. and it has this information on it, and plus these actions down the bottom. So that's all set up inside of this workflow right here. You can see that there's let me start at the top rather than jump around. There's the title pulled from a placeholder. There's different settings here, how things align, what it says in the subtext and the heading, what values are shown in the columns. And then if we want to change any of this, we certainly can. We can go here to the, let's go here and say I want to change. Okay, here's what I want to do. Right here, there's normal, unassigned, and a pipe, and then nothing, right? Because due date's blank. Because right here, due date is blank. So I don't want due date here anymore. Take that off. Go here. I'm going to use approval status and put that up there. Update it. Save. And now we just change that card. You know, that's all. That's like basically all there is to it. Now, if I go back to Pavan, unless there's some caching issue, and I say, maybe I can even click that one again. I don't know. Let me see, or I'm not sure if I have to go back and list them again. Let's see what happened here if it lists that card again and see what happens. Yeah, maybe maybe it's a cache thing there where it has to refresh. Oh, no, it says it right here, approved. See, I just added that in, the approval status, right? This one didn't have it. So I went to that workflow. I went to the post adaptive card of that workflow because that's what the command invokes that workflow in our Nitro workflows. And I just added this approved, because you say due date here. There is no due date, so it's put blank. So it puts it approved. See, that's how easy it is to do this stuff. And you can manipulate this card any way you want. Normally I don't go into that technical, but the latest webinars I've done, people have been like asking about these technical details. You know, I didn't want to overwhelm people with, oh, you can do all this stuff, there's all these cards, you know, get into the mechanics of it too much. I was going more for the high level, you know, the people who kind of like the decision makers about, is this a good, you know, from a high level, what's the economic benefits to the company? But personally, I think it's pretty cool to look at the mechanics of this thing too, isn't it? And it's pretty cool. You can go in and you got your bot, a command, you invoke a workflow. The workflow you can configure so easily, you know, and then all of a sudden you have a different card showing up here, slightly different, you know, but you can, the point is it's totally manipulable. Manipulable, is that a word? Manipulate. Anyway, the point here is that also you can put in these different commands at the bottom. So we go back there, and this is where it becomes really, really awesome. Where were we? We were in Nitro Studio workflows, sites, Nitro Studio workflows. I'm in the wrong. I'm in this one right here. Yeah, okay. Let's go back to the request management workflows. Open that up. Go back to that display adaptive card for the display leave request adaptive card right here. Of course, you got to know what workflow it is and all that. But if you set this up, you know it, right? I mean, this is just words you give, names you give to these things. And now you have this, and you say, look, down the bottom are these different actions that can go on. And this one, I must have gone to the wrong one here. Let me go back to the right one. Is it, what was it? I wasn't planning to do this. All of a sudden, I'm in the display leave request adaptive card. That's the one I want. Okay, so now we're back in display adaptive card. And let's go here where I just added that approved one. Approval, you know, approval status to the card. And you can see that there's 3 actions down here. So those actions there are showing up because you set it up in the workflow in your post adaptive card. You can do it like update the item by adding a comment. You can assign it to someone else. You can close it. And all that. And there's many other actions you can add too here. Invoke another workflow. So I mean, you get this incredible power going on with this bot. It's crazy. So here you go, add a comment, assign to, or close it, right? You know, so those are all set up in your workflow. Pretty good stuff. That's just one element of the bots, and showing that the automation that's possible by the bot and the Nitro workflows working together give you the ability to really automate the processes and make it easy for users, and to drive the user adoption and drive the processes forward. Really good stuff. Let me go back to another thing we're going to do here. Get back on, you know, show you a couple more things of what we can do here with the bot. I think you're getting the sense though of the power of it, I hope, through this webinar. Somebody's asking a really good question, but I'll get to that in a minute. Pavan wants to submit a new purchase request. You know, so it's commands a bit more. No, I click that command. I could also put in just purchase request or buy something, or, you know, whatever keywords you want to put. But now this is set to show this card called a form card. So what he wants to buy, he needs a new iPhone. I don't know, for some reason, right? So type of purchase, hardware, priority. Well, everything's high in the user's world, but he's pulling it from a catalog. Yeah, iPhone 6S, a little outdated. I think it should be 12. Got to update that in our demo. Reason for purchase, the old one is too slow, and he's only buying one of them, right? So he's going to submit this. Now, what this is auto approval because it's below a certain limit. In our purchase request system, we set up these things so that if it's below a certain amount, it doesn't need an approver. It's going to just auto approve below a certain amount. It's created successfully, and he's going to get an approval message and let him know that unless the iPhone costs more than the limit, it's going to let him know that he got an approval of that right away. Over here, let me cancel this and go over to James's. James is right here. If it was more than a certain amount, James would have got a notice and saying, hey, you have to approve this for this purchase. So let's make one that's a higher amount. He's going to submit another purchase request. And this one is going to be a higher amount, above the limit of money that requires an approval by the manager. So now he needs 2 laptops. Sorry, 2 laptops. See what happened here? I kind of got interrupted in that, but see, this card came back to approval not required because it's below the certain limit. It's not required. So let me start that over. The second purchase request. I just had to wait for that first one to come back and says approval is not required. You're approved. Go ahead and buy it. So he didn't need to do that. So if I go here and submit a second purchase request, and I should remember just type in buy something rather than. Otherwise, you'll think you always have to type in those commands. You don't. You just put the shortcut in the bot command, and it would work. So here we are back to this. Put in 2 laptops, 2 laptops to go. 2 laptops to go, and normal and purchase catalog. Dell Vostros, I don't know. Reason for purchase, new people starting on Monday. I don't know, whatever. So it's 2 of them. 2 dose. There we go. Submit to us. Submit to is created successfully, and Mr. James, the manager, in short time should get a notice here that there is a request that exceeds the approval limit that's set in our purchase request system, and then he should get a notice here. Microbot made me a little bit slow for demo purposes, but it's slow enough, fast enough for real work. So let's look at the purchase request system and see all the purchase requests that have come in while we're here. Let's see, 20. Is this the right system? I don't know if I'm in the right system here. Aha, there's the card. Okay, here we go. 2 laptops, level 1 approval, purchase request, 2 laptops, PR number, new people starting on Monday, approved, denied. Well, he's going to go ahead and approve it. Okay. Go ahead and order. And he approves it. Purchase request. So you got this difference between somebody who is below a certain limit and above a certain limit, So he's got a task is approved, or purchase request is approved. And over here in Pavan's world, he'll get a card eventually. Let's be patient here. That says it's been approved. And go ahead and order. Again, all operating outside of the application itself, all within Teams. And now what you could do also when again, this approval could send a notice to purchasing channel or to the purchasing email address saying go ahead and order it. And then you could go further from there. When they order it, it lets them know in Teams. Chatbot here that it's been ordered. It lets them know the arrival date or the tracking number. I mean, you go all kinds of extent with this. It really gets cool. If you're into this kind of stuff of building these applications and making everything work, kind of like it's amazing how things go back and forth like this, right? Just using the power really of our Nitro Studio business process automation platform. I hope people are getting interested in this because it really drives efficiency and streamlines operation. I mean, this stuff works in the real world. This is not, just playthings, but people are slowly, edging into the bot world. They're kind of like, maybe, so it's good you come to the webinar and learn what you learn here, but definitely get in touch and let us know what your needs are and what we can do about it. I'm not ending the webinar because it's usually an ending note when you say stuff like that. I'm just kind of talking because I'm getting, this is actually cool. I think what we've done is great. Where are we? So the 2 laptops been approved, so he can do whatever he wants. We could add other, as you saw with that adaptive card, we could add other functions down here. It says send to purchasing or order. Maybe order would invoke a workflow that orders the 2 laptops. You know, it all depends on how you want to set it up and work what's best in your situation. Okay, before I get too lost in yeah, we will have a recording available. Someone was asking about that. I'm going to go quickly through one last thing, because I think it's really quite another element of this that I should emphasize here. And you don't see it till you get to the IT support world, but it's another element of what we can do here, and that is submit an IT ticket. And yeah, well, it probably can be done. You can either submit the ticket. Actually, before that, let me go back a step, because that's like, it suggests you check the KB first. In case you want to submit a ticket, please describe your issue. What I'm gonna do is go back here and start that over, because, or help or commands or something. Because I want to show that it's just showing the command to say, my printer is not working. No command has been invoked here, you know? It's just person typed in a message. Let's see what it does. What's it gonna do? Oh, it's just showing the command. Okay, I think we gotta go to submit a ticket, search KB articles, submit IT ticket. Why, there's some way we can type in printer not working. It's like I'm getting a little foggy after 50 minutes of this webinar, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, there's a way to do it. Maybe Prakash can jump in and let me know, but there's a way without having to submit a ticket. You can actually search the knowledge base. You don't have to search the KB directly, but just typing something in there responds back with your answer, possible KB articles. Prakash, you there for that? Or you can jump in or unmute yourself if you can help me out. Oh, I guess he's not here. Okay. Oh, well, I'm calling to somebody who isn't there. Anyway, I wanted to show you that you can search the KB before you submit a ticket. So let's go this way. Actually, I could look at the bot commands and try and figure that out in real time here. So we got search KB articles, find KB. What's the shortcut for that? I have a problem. Okay, I have a problem. And you could add more on it if you want. Let's go back to here. Start over. I do a lot of these webinars, and you know it's hard to remember everything, but this one seems to be going all right. That's good. So let's go. I have a problem. I have a problem. Kind of like an odd statement, isn't it? I have a problem. But what it does is showing you that by typing in certain keywords, you can invoke certain actions from the bot. And then the idea is that once people use the bot, they can get used to these kind of shortcuts. So what it did, which is really cool, without even entering any command, all that pop, and this is why I wanted to show you guys, without even entering any command per se, the person just said I had a problem. Now, if I was doing this in real time, you know, like in your guys' organizations, maybe I'd put something like my printer's broke, you know, some keywords that it's going to search in order to bring back the proper response. In this case, what it's done is saying, I'm giving you these KB articles, right? You know, anyway, I wanted to show you that it can give KB articles, and then you can decide, like, a person can open up the article, take a look at it, and then if the problem's resolved, or show me more articles, whatever, or you know, that, or they can just go ahead and submit a ticket. So they can just submit ticket. That should work, right? The option from the list. Okay. You guys, that's what happens when you do this one. Submit IT ticket, new ticket. That's what it is. New ticket is the shortcut. My cheat sheet there. And we're going to do something where you can have those shortcuts show up here, you know, so you can have like a reference in real time. It's like people get very used. See, that's how we advance our Nitro bot. You know, I was talking to the dev team and saying, hey, what if we had something here that was, you know, show me the list of shortcuts, you know, maybe put it down here, shortcuts or something like that, right? You know, person shouldn't have to memorize them. But if you do use the bot a bunch, you do end up remembering that. No, this can go this way. You know how these, there we go. So let's go submit a ticket then, and then it goes through the same process of submitting a ticket. And then, you know, like that, submits a ticket. And the idea is like you search the KB first, try and give an article back to the user, then submits it. If the KB article doesn't solve the problem, then you submit the ticket goes in, it gets assigned to James, and James comes in and resolves it and has this conversation back and forth in real time in the bot with Pavan, getting more information about which printer's broken or whatever, and maybe even can open up a call with them and do a remote session through Teams. So there's, you know, all this interactivity for IT support that's going on. Think about that. Pavan submits the ticket. James gets notice that there's a new ticket available. He signs it to himself. Then he could send an email, I mean, not an email, a text message back through the comment phase to Pavan, get more details, or even open up a call with Pavan and then do a remote session and share the screen in real time. You're taking IT support to a really new level with that kind of stuff, from basic just these email ping ponging or, you know, going on. So anyway, I'm getting towards the end of the hour, and a lot more I can show you. And you know, we could do this one-on-one demos, one-on-one or have conversations about what's going on. We're really excited about where this is going, you know, the improvements we're making, and how this is really bringing another level of business process automation to your organization. We have the forms and workflow platform, people using it for all kinds of purposes, info path replacement, or just develop new processes. We have our existing applications, and the AI and bot services keep improving and becoming a more and more important element of your organizational operational efficiency using Office 365 and Teams, especially Teams. So I could leave it at that because we're near top of the hour, and I know people sometimes have other appointments and things they want to do. I can stay on for a little while and try and answer questions here and do it. And meanwhile, we can improve some interface. Okay, what I'll do then is thank everyone for attending. If people want to stay on while I try and answer questions, they can. And we'll go from there. But also, any further interest, it's no problem to set up, just, you know, call or do a demo and share, you know, take it a little step further. You know, we realize people are still in the exploratory stages with a lot of this, and there's, you know, some hesitancy. I mean, we aren't hardcore salespeople. We're just, you know, in the same situation like you are, trying to use Office 365 in the efficient way and make it useful. And that's what, you know, our joy is, or our work is, our effort is here for the last 22 years at Crow Canyon, is doing just that, helping businesses run more efficiently through using these Microsoft collaboration tools. You know, a lot of it is hard to parse out how to do this kind of stuff. Well, how can I use Office 365 successfully? How can I use it for my organization? And hopefully we can give you guidance on that from our long experience and our interaction with many customers who are using it and the success we've had with them. So let me jump into questions.
Yeah, Scott, this is Jocelyn again. So there are some questions about interfacing with third parties. Anyway, can you please answer this question about, someone's asking about ServiceNow? Let's see.
I would say that okay, here's the deal. Let me explain this in a way that hopefully makes sense. In our Nitro workflows, say we want to display an adaptive card. I'll just go into one of them. We can invoke web services. This is one of the features of our system, is that you can invoke a web service. And as long as web services like REST API, as long as ServiceNow, which it does, has a REST API and interact third-party integration APIs like that, we can take this, as long as we know the proper settings and authentications, you know, how to connect with a third party, we can go ahead and make that kind of connection there. Oh, James is back too. So what happens is that this web service function in our workflows is it's the bot using the Nitro workflows that allows the interaction with third-party systems like ServiceNow, Salesforce, any QuickBooks, even any external database, ERP system. Of course, you have to have the connection strings, and you have to have the right REST API and authentication, but presuming all that's in place, by using our workflow of the invoke the web service, invoke Azure function. Another point here I want to make among you Office 365 people is that the invoke workflow can invoke a Power Automate flow. So we can take the bot The bot can invoke one of our workflows that then invokes a Power Automate. And it's not, I mean, it happens all seamlessly, like boom, bada boom. But the thing is, the Power Automate has some connectors that we can leverage, or you can build it directly by invoking one of, putting this in a web service or an Azure function to do that. And that's some programming level that it's not hard for, people who are into it. It sounds difficult, but it really isn't. It's just a matter of knowing the proper syntax and communication strings and access to it, and then you're able to talk to it. And most SaaS solutions have that. We've seen very few that don't have some kind of third-party connectivity like that. So, oh, somebody, we always get that. This is a question this person has. Why don't you do your meeting in Teams instead of go to webinar? You know, a good point. This Gabrielle was pointing this out. A good point, and it's something we should migrate to. It's just, what it is. It's the inertia of that we've always used go to webinar for years. We pay for it. We know how it works, and of course we know how Teams works too. It's just we're used to doing it that way, and a good point, though. I think we should maybe migrate these webinars to using Teams. It just would require someone to have a Teams or a Microsoft account on the other end, and in order to access it, I believe. So good point. We'll look into that, and I think it would make a more. I guess what you're saying, it would increase our credibility with Office 365 and Teams if we were using Teams to do this meeting. And I don't question that, and thanks for pointing it out. And it's just, we use go to webinar, we use Zoom, we use all kinds of tools, and it just, we're used to this. That's why it's nothing at all. Okay, proofs. What else we have going on, Jocelyn?
Okay. I mean, we're doing pretty well. Go ahead.
As far as the pricing of the bot, yeah, what happens is, if someone could get our application, let me explain a little about that, because there is kind of a question about pricing or how to do it. People have two choices with the Nitro Studio business process automation platform. They can get the forms and workflow platform, the solutions, and then kind of like build their own in any number of sites in the organization, get a tenant license or a farm license. That way, it gives you the ability to take any number of workflows and automate them. We have people have, like, say, 100 different InfoPath forms they want to migrate to Office 365. They get a tenant-wide license, and they can open up as many sites as they want or lists as they want and use Nitro Studio all over the place, forms and workflow. If they want to use the bot's an extra cost depending on how many users you have in your organization. So because the bot requires Azure bot services and some Azure capabilities on our side, we charge as an additional over and above the Nitro Studio price, because the bot requires resources. It's like the bot's almost like a hosted service on some level on our servers, so that's an extra cost. A person can also get one of our Nitro-based applications, say help desk, purchasing, or project tracking, whatever one, or multiple ones. Each one of those runs in one site. So the application is site specific, but at the same time, it has the Nitro Studio for that one site, right? And a lot of people start that way. They get the project management or they get the help desk, and they run it in one site, solving that problem they have of migrating a help desk to Office 365, or running a service desk, or a departmental level help desk, or asset management, whatever one of those tools inside of Office 365. And so with the application comes Nitro Studio with all its power of forms and workflows to configure that help desk or whatever to be, best it can be and configured specifically for your purposes. At the same time, you can add bot services to that too, if you wanted. And a lot of people start with that, and then they move to more an application, and eventually they move to the full tenant-wide license once they see how much you can do in Nitro Studio. So, we work with you. It's a matter of having that conversation and seeing what works and what is going to, fly, and how it's all about value. It's not like we just sell the stuff to sell it. It's the value that's delivered to the organization far exceeds the cost of the program. So it's really a matter of how to maximize that value. You're already paying for Office 365. You want to get Nitro Studio on top of it to really amp up, supersize Office 365, so to speak. And then you have the bots element, and pretty soon you have this very complete business process automation platform for a very reasonable cost. I mean, we all know there's other ones out there. There's big boys, Nintex with its, huge price tag, and others. And if you don't need that or don't want to have that enterprise level, full blown, robotic process automation and all that stuff, you can go with ours. Ours is a very reasonable we call it the Goldilocks solution, kind of in between. Not too hot, not too cold. It's a great program, a lot of tools and capabilities, but it's not at the high cost and expense and overhead of one of those, full workplace automate enterprise level automation tools either. So, and much better than one of those kind of minor level forms and workflow solutions. I'm not going to name any names, but some of them are just really very basic, forms and stuff. And you don't get the full process automation out of it like you do in Nitro Studio. How's that, huh? So what are we doing here? Building, you're spending time building. Why not? Do you have a contact person or at Adobe, or do we need to contact someone? Yeah, you can contact someone in our company. Yeah, you can get in touch, reach out to us directly. All right, but this is the kind of time when I'd love to have like the conversation one-on-one with everyone, because sometimes typing through these questions in chat is never quite the same, but we'll try and answer. What other, Jocelyn, what else can I address here? A lot of interest. I'm glad to see this.
One thing that's really great to say is ultimately what Crocan is doing differently is that you've got people here that answer your questions, and that we're here to help you get people directly. And so we have a couple of ways to do that from the support side and then also on the sales side, so that we are tailoring it to you. And that doesn't mean that it's extra cost. It just means that we're talking to you based on what your organization needs. So we hope that that really helps you find comfort in that. But no, I think that you've answered all the questions here, and we're going to do a follow-up with everyone with a recording from this webinar so that you have that on the same page where you signed up, and you'll be getting an email with us with that information as well.
Yeah, we'll send out information on that. And again, so great to have everyone join the webinar and learn more. And any comments, feedback, anything else is great. I mean, we love, like Jocelyn says, we have, we're not a huge company. We're small enough that we are very personal with everybody who work. We used to see everybody at the shows before COVID and that kind of stuff. And we don't do that too much anymore at all, really. But hopefully in the future we'll get out again. And some people have been out for years and years, really. So 15 or more years, some people. So it's we're growing, and there's a lot going on, and Office 365 offers some very exciting possibilities, and we're glad to have our Nitro Studio automation platform on top of it with the forms and workflows and the application. So hopefully you'll check us out more. There's our website, and Jocelyn says we have a lot of support and training and one-on-one demos. So I hope to hear from people, and I hope this has been informative, and wish everyone a nice day, and have a good rest of the day, rest of the week. Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
You,
everybody.
Jocelyn.
Sure,
Okay.
thank you.